Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.
Welcome back to Teens and Parents. I'm your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and we are discussing here today substance abuse. And we have our two guests. We have Raqib and Nasri, and we also have Ayman Fox, and we're happy to have both of them here with us today. I'm going to go right back to Ayman, and I'm going to mention something that you made mention of before, of how the alcohol is seen as something it's just so normal. But in reality, it's actually a stepping stone to an escalation of more dangerous substance abuse activity. What do you think about that?
I think it is. I think it's desensitization. If you start drinking alcohol, it's a mixture. It's that plus the peer pressures we spoke about, because I was desensitized to the alcohol because it was something normal in the house. People would have drunk, like I said, at weekends or at family gatherings or at meal times. So that was something normal for me. But the alcohol as well gives you the courage, the Dutch courage as they call it. So then when you're at a party and you see other people doing it, and you might have fear of it before that, because you've heard of the bad things that drugs do. But because you've got that Dutch courage, you say, if he can do it, let me try it as well.
And also, there's other stuff like cigarettes. Like back in the days, like I was born as a Muslim, alhamdulillah, but back in the days I was still in Jahiliyyah in a way. Like cigarettes, I started to smoke cigarettes when I was like 13, and that led me actually to smoke hash, because I felt that cigarettes is like just a intoxication only. So I had this need to like feel something in a way. And back in the days as well, it was my friend. Like my friend was the first one. He was the reason why I smoked my first joint.
Where's he now?
Sorry?
Where's he now?
Where is he now? I think he's in France. Yeah, but he's not Muslim. So that's about it. Like, first of all, we see that something leaded to something else, and peer pressure. So yeah.
I mean, when we're talking about this topic, we're going to have to move to a solution. Now, if somebody is dealing with this, we have people who are watching right now, and they're sitting here saying, yeah, you know what, I can vibe with that. I understand that. That's where I'm at. But, okay, what do I do? Firstly, let's look at the parents. What are the signs that a parent needs to watch out for, where they could see that perhaps their daughter or their son is engaging in some type of drugs or alcohol or something like that? What do they need to watch out for?
Kids going out too much. The kids may be coming back talking rubbish. If it's marijuana, then maybe they can, if their kids' eyes seem to be red all the time, things like that.
And them like coming late, but it's not, of course, like a sin has nothing to do with time. They could get high or get drunk any time, but usually when they come late, and like a lot of times during the week, they should like ask them where'd you go? Try to get to know their friends, but in a friendly way. Because if they ask them who's your friends, of course they won't answer. They'll lie or they'll hide it. Also, like he said, if he's high, he could maybe his eyes are red. Even though these days they have eye drops that could take that off, but still, they'll be talking crazy, like he said, stuff like that.
Okay, now you've recognized the problem.
Yeah.
There's a mother out there right now, and she's looking. She may be Muslim, she may not be Muslim, but she's looking. She says, "Yeah, you know what? I've seen that. My son's not here watching this with me right now because he's come home late. I don't know where he is. He comes in. He's talking the same language as I am, but I don't understand what that boy is talking about." What does she need to do?
I think it's all about understanding. You know, the mother needs to try and understand that this is something, you know, that's going on in society, there are a lot of pressures in society which are you know, making the maybe her children like that or her son like that.
But what steps does she have to take? Because she's got to take some type of action, because this problem is just not going to just you know, magically go away. It's going to get worse, generally. But I mean, does she need to commit him to a drug rehab center?
Depends how far it's got. It depends, you know, if it's got that far now, and then she would know if it's got that far. Maybe he started stealing money. If you know, if he's if he's got a habit and he can't get it, he might start stealing money. And those cases, I think she should probably go to find some help from outside, some professional help, somebody who can advise her what to do, and then maybe advise him as well.
Yes, like what's Ayman saying. Like, we could see big signs when it's getting worse, stealing from the purse some money, or acting really crazy. At that time, they have to like take him to a rehab. But like in the beginning, like if he's still taking light drugs like hash or alcohol and he's still not really addicted, the parents, I think they should like stop it in a friendly way. They shouldn't like involve any rehab or any drug test. And that's it.
But that's going to demand a good relationship between the parents and the child.
The thing is, the problem of nowadays, because there's more and more materialism, people are more and more like committed to get money, and like these days, honestly, they're hard. So usually parents, they neglect the kids, and that's a big problem. That's why usually the kids start to get help through illusions like drugs and peer pressure.
Okay, Ayman, you mentioned that going to the masjid, Iman, Islam, it gave a peace and a calming effect to what you were feeling before. Can you tell us, were there certain ayats or certain ahadith that you may have come across that had that effect on you that maybe you can pass along to one of the viewers that might be in need of that?
I mean, for me, in my own personal experience, it was just reading the Quran. I knew I had to make a change, and I discovered that, you know, about the truth of the world, and that, you know, there was a God who created us and sustained us. So when I turned to Allah, I was a brand new Muslim. So there wasn't anywhere I could think, right, well, let me go, if I read this particular chapter, you know, this is going to help me. I just started from the beginning, from Surah Al-Baqarah, and I just started reading. And all of the Quran helped me, you know, and had that calming effect.
So you would recommend them to read Quran as much as possible?
Definitely.
What role can the community play? For example, if there's the imam of the local masjid, he's watching this program right now. He knows the people in his congregation, or so-and-so, or brother so-and-so, or the mother so-and-so has called him and said, hey, you know, I think my son is in trouble. He's different. He's changed. What role can the masjid, can the community play in dealing with this issue?
Education for the family, education for the kids, putting on, you know, Quran lessons, and maybe, now you find a lot of mosques, they have outings for the kids and stuff which are run by people who understand, they've grown up in the Western society, and they understand what the kids are going through. They've been through the schooling system themselves, and they can act like role models.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
And there needs to be that type of thing in every mosque, really. There needs to be a group of people who, not a group as in a group, but I mean, a number of people who can understand where the kids are coming from, and they can put their hands out and help.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, I want Raqib to try to give us some idea in terms of not what the parents should do now, but what the actual teens need to be doing, because they recognize that there's a problem also, but sometimes you're just caught in that loop and you just can't get out of it. So hold it for 1 second. Let's go to a break, and we will be right back, inshallah.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
I was involved with substance enjoyment. I think the term substance abuse is a bit derogatory. I'm not affected personally, and I think peer pressure is a very weak excuse for what you call substance abuse. I mean, it's your personal choice, and no matter what people tell you or pressure you into doing, it's down to you whether you want to do it or not.
Here, I can see alcohol is an issue, but back in Nigeria, it's a very big issue, especially with people popping pills and marijuana. It's a really big issue. According to what I've seen, maybe out of 10 people, you have 7 people who are under drug abuse. So it's a really big issue on campuses in Nigeria. I think some of it has to do with peer pressure. Some of it has to do with actually the person's willingness.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
According to the Quran, we live in a universe that worships Allah. It is not just human beings who celebrate His praises, but animals as well. Join us every Wednesday at 20 GMT for your show, Even Animals Glorified.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
Welcome back. Teens and parents. And we are dealing with the issue today of substance abuse. And we posed a question to Raqib, and hopefully he can clarify to us what the young people who are watching this episode, what should they be doing so that they can turn a new page?
Okay. I'll answer that actually by something realistic, which is my case. Like I used to love alcohol, used to love drugs, especially hash. But by the years, like let's say like after 3 years of me being involved deeply in these two, I started to get depressed, not get happy out of it. I'm like the problems are still there, the stress is still there, nothing changed. So actually, what I did personally, everybody in his life has different levels, or different periods in his life where he's growing. So I learned from my mistakes, and I actually started to hang out with different people that go to the mosque more. Friends like that, we have fun, we play basketball, we could write some lyrics, show some poetry, spit some rhymes, but not having any bad thing or any drug involved. And alhamdulillah, they made me go to this different level in my life, and that's what really helped me. And I tried not to see the old people. Like even I canceled, I deleted the number on my mobile, so that khalas, it's over with them. And that will help me personally. So I think generally, the main thing to do or to start by is to start by your friends, choosing different friends, new friends. That's it.
Yeah. It goes back to what you were saying. The people who are around you.
Yeah.
And then when you actually wanted to go to a different level and to leave behind and start to be more religious, those people wanted to leave you. You see? That, it was a blessing from Allah, I'm sure, that they didn't try to pursue, because only Allah knows, maybe that might have drew you back or something. But I want to mention another point here, the role of the parents. It's difficult for a parent to complain that their child is doing drugs when they themselves are alcohol drinkers. I mean, what message is that sending to the children?
Go ahead.
It's sending a bad message, because as far as I'm concerned, and as far as Islam is concerned, there's no difference. There's no difference between drugs and between alcohol. They're both things which get you high, and they're both things which change a person into somebody he's not. And I mean, if you look at the crime statistics from England and Wales, you'll find, I think, maybe 40% of crime, I'm not exactly sure, I heard on the television, around 40% of the crime, I think, is alcohol related. So you think if you stop people drinking alcohol, you'd have 40% less crime. So, I mean, to me, and to Islam, there's no difference between alcohol abuse and drug abuse.
Okay.
And usually they make alcohol legal, and they make the other drugs not legal. But why is that? Alcohol, like he said, he just brought a statistic right now. He brought a number that showed that no, alcohol has bad effect on the society. Like, everybody wants to live. No one wants to get killed. But there's a lot of crimes where people get killed, murder, robbed.
People beat their wives, people beat their kids. And, maybe if it escalates to, an addiction, maybe they lose they can lose their house, they can lose their jobs, they can lose,
I remember even when I was growing up, it was normal that there's alcohol in the house. It was not normal if you didn't have alcohol. Because even if you weren't a heavy drinker, you did have some for when company came, family came. So it was always on the table. But it's an interesting thing, because when I became Muslim and started trying to practice Islam, or whatever part I'm actually practicing now, hopefully I'm practicing something good, I remember that I didn't want to sit at the table where the alcohol was served. I was afraid of the wrath of Allah.
Inshallah.
So I remembered I was talking to my wife, and I said, I don't want to sit with them when they're drinking the alcohol anymore. But what do? I mean, it's just always been my entire life. Now you get, I can picture with at that time what they were saying. Oh, now you get yourself this new girl, and she's wearing this funny outfit, and you don't shave anymore, and you're wearing a dress. So, for those who don't know, that's a so. But and all of a sudden now you want to come in here and you want to tell us how to run our program. Well, look, I tell you what, you take yourself someplace else, which is basically what my sister told me. I said, well, I tried to come and say, I don't think that we want to sit when the alcohol is served. And she was like, well, you try to put your religion on me and all. No, peer pressure. That's a peer pressure. It's not so much as the peer pressure that they're calling you to do something, but the backlash that you're going to suffer by trying to, take a different path. I was afraid for my children. I'm like, wait a minute. You're Muslim. You're trying to be Muslim. And here you are. You go to the mother's house, and there are Heinekens, Budweisers, red wine, Jack Daniels, and all of this other stuff right there on the table, and you're sitting right there next to it. Mm-hmm. Are we listening? And this is where I was. So when I tried to make that transition, my sister, she blew up. And my mother, she tentatively agreed. In other words, well, I'll try it. If the family supports you, I don't have a problem with it. If they don't support you, I'm going to do my own thing. But all of that plays a role. So I think that the parents have to understand that if you want to be serious about keeping your children away from drugs, keeping them away from substance abuse, don't come into the house, don't have a liquor cabinet where all of this stuff is just there, because he comes up and he says to you, you say, you know what, something is wrong with you, boy. Your eyes are all red and glassy and everything. I know you're out there doing something. And he says to you, well,
your eyes are red as well.
And your speech is slurred as well. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Yours is messy and mine is not. So I think that that's an encouragement that the parents need when they are dealing with their children. Now, finally, we need to touch on one final topic. Okay, we touched upon peer pressure. We're going to talk about another kind of peer pressure, the good peer pressure. Okay, for argument's sake, we have Ahmed that's standing here. Ahmed knows something is wrong with Muawiyah. Muawiyah is different. They were good friends. He starts keeping new company, doing all sorts of things, and his speech is slurred, his eyes are glassy, and he is just out of this world. How can he help his friend? What should he be doing to say, hey, this is killing us. We have to make a change. We have to make a new choice. What does he need to be doing?
First of all, he shouldn't attack him.
Okay.
He shouldn't be rude. He should talk to him in a way that, yeah, I could have been in your place, or I did that before, and not make him feel ashamed. He shouldn't make him feel bad. So that he raise up the friendliness between both, and he get him closer, and he get in his thoughts, so that the other person will be like, yeah, actually, man, I'm doing this because blah 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 blah. So he gets closer. That's first of all. Second of all, he starts to give him a piece of advice, because he already broke the ice. Start to give some piece of advice, and then maybe take him out more with him. Tell him, okay, what about tomorrow? Would you like to come to me? There's blah, blah, blah. Or we go and play a basketball game. Put some fun in it in the beginning. Then take him to a majlis, a khutbah, and introduce him to different peers, indirectly and progressively with time. People should always know that this cannot come right away. It could take some time.
There's a process.
We shouldn't rush it. Yeah, we shouldn't rush it.
Good. We're going to have to end it here. Brothers, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your coming and sharing with our audience what we shared here today. Inshallah ta'ala, there's a lot of benefit in it. And I would like to thank you all for spending time with us. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem. For teens and parents, Jazakumullahu khaira. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.